Hello again, I'm Tina from Tina K Skin. Today I'm going to run through a morning makeup routine. I have just gone through my skincare regime in the morning and now it's time to apply my makeup. So first of all, I'm just going to put a small amount of primer. You don't always have to use a primer, but in particular I like this one because it makes your skin feel so silky. Colorescience. It's the in the new packaging, the brightening perfector primer. So you only need a small amount of this product. I'll just show you how much I'm going to use. Just about that much. So with liquid makeup primers, just emulsify a little bit, and I always start from the middle of your face. You don't want to start from the outsides because that's where the bulk of it's going to be. Okay, so that's on there and we just very gently rub that in. I've never been a real fan of makeup brushes for foundations, liquid foundations I'm talking about, and primers. I just find that things are fine. Just make sure that we're blended before and behind the ears. This is a very natural looking primer. Gives the skin a bit of a glow. There we go, simple as that. And then I'm going to apply a small amount of the Colorescience Tint de Soleil. Now this is SPF 30, so it's also can double as your skin protection. I forgot to mention that the Colorescience primer is SPF 20 as well. So just going to put a small amount of this one on. Again, I don't need too much daytime makeup. So small amount, that's a tiny amount, but that's all I want to put on today. So again, starting from the middle of the face, just emulsify a little bit with your fingers. Just pat on, middle of the face. Just put it on the eye area too. I tend to have red eyelids in the morning. It's not because my eyes are sensitive, it's because I have often quite late nights and early mornings, so a bit of lack of sleep going on there. Just blend around the jawline, again before and after the ear, hairline. But as you can see, that just goes on so smooth, feels so silky. You literally put it on almost like moisturizer. Doesn't have to be hard. Okay, so some days I feel like I want to put a little bit of powder. Other days I'll just leave it like this. I don't mind having a bit of a sheen or slightly oily look. But I'll show you how to apply powder today. So I've chosen the Pressed Mineral Foundation by Colorescience. Looks like this. It comes in a little compact. Underneath is a sponge which you can use if you want to have a more full, heavier coverage, whereas I'm just going to use the Colorescience Kabuki brush, which is so super soft, in big movements because I only want a very small amount of this on. So the colour I'm using is the most popular colour in the range, called All Even. It tends to suit a lot of skin tones. So if you're not particularly fair and you're not, you don't have much, again, but you don't have much colour in the skin, it tends to blend right in. So it's a good choice to start at if you're not really light or really dark. So I'll just show you what I do here. Just swirl it on. I like to blow off the excess and just start with big movements over one side of the face, over the eyes as well. Acts as a good base for your eyeshadow. So there's that. A little bit more. If you're going to put a few layers, always do the first layer pretty spread out like that with big movements, because this will sort of set the makeup underneath before you apply sort of a more bulk amount of this. You don't want it to sort of stick where you put it. So you want to sort of set your makeup first, and then if you like, you can apply more and it will go on nice and smoothly without sticking too much in one area. If I'm going to put a little bit more, I tend to definitely middle of the face, nose, eyelids. As you can see now, that's set a really good base for my eyeshadow, and that redness I always have on my eyelids has definitely been concealed. No concealer used. You gotta be careful with concealers, especially under the eye area. They can accentuate fine lines, so I don't tend to use them, but I do use good eye creams that keep dark circles and stuff like that away. Okay, so I have got primer, I have got a 30 plus liquid foundation on, and a little bit of powder as well. This one also has a SPF of 20. So I like to use the setting mist, a Colorescience. Again, this is a hydrating one, and you just little spritz over like this. That's all you need. Let it just dry for a minute, and then it's time to put some eyeshadow on. So I'm going to be using some of the palettes from Colorescience today for my eyeshadow. So the first palette I have, some fabulous colours here, good for so many things. It is the light to medium shade in the Corrector palette. So I'm going to use this very first tone here as the base for my eyelids. And as you'll see, it will cover, got a brush like this, a nice kind of fluffy brush, not too big, not too small. And I'm going to apply it to the whole eyelid area, starting where I want the bulk of the product on the actual lid and blending out on the orbital bone, because when we put eyeshadow here later, we don't want it to stick, so we need to make sure that a good smooth base is on there and will help to blend the darker colours when it comes around to putting those on. So try and get right into the corner there. It just helps to also conceal and hide any sort of darkness that you might have without being too heavy, without being like a heavy concealer that ends up going all cakey and yuck. Okay, so that's a nice base. So I'm going to apply a bit of colour now. So I'm going to choose the lighter. I like neutral tones, so I'm going to choose the lighter of the two neutral tones I'm going to use to do the main area. So this is my favourite at the moment. Again, it's a Colorescience palette. It's a smaller palette. This one is actually the brow kit. So I do sometimes use the darker colours in this palette through my brows, but I often use a brow pencil, and I'll show you that later. So this colour here is what I'm going to be using right now. Again, using this brush, circular motions, starting from, always put the brush down where you want the bulk of the product, because that's where it's going to land and you need to blend it out from. As you can see, just little circular, small circular little movements with your brush. Now this is a very important step when it comes to eyeshadow. There's nothing worse than having eyeshadow that has very defined lines and borders, because you want to blend it. Looks much nicer that way. Good quality brushes definitely help make your life much easier. Okay, so I have the base of that on. As you can see, I'm just sort of blending upwards towards my brow. I'm not blending this way or that way, because we want to give a slight lift look rather than drag the eye down. So we'll do the other eye, same on the other side. I'm not going all the way into the corner of my eye with this, because we want to, that can close the eyes in if it's too dark on this section. So You want to have you want to have a bit of a gradient effect where you've got lighter tones and increasingly slowly getting darker as you come out. So yeah, just blending now. A good tip too, if you feel that, which I do a little bit here, if you feel that your eyeshadow is not blended enough for the look that you're after, get your powder brush that you were just using with a little bit of, don't put any more powder on it, but just with the excess powder, you can blend it out like this. So that's a quite sort of really natural tone there, but what I want to do now is apply before I do my darker shade of eyeshadow, I'm going to apply some eyeliner. I've got the black mineral Colorescience eyeliner here. This is a great tip. It's not suitable for everybody because it's not irritating, but it can be a bit funny to apply, but I like to apply it on the waterline, top of the waterline, into the lashes. Just little side to side movements. Again, I'm not putting it all the way along because I want a daytime look. I don't want to be too stark. As you can see, that is just sort of given some definition to my my lash line. And do the other side. Okay, it's probably just a little bit more. So you just lift it up like that, and just sort of aim into your lashes, but from the underside. So when I close my eyes, it doesn't really look like I've got eyeliner on. For nighttime look, I might put a bit of liquid along there, but I'm just doing a natural daytime look, so I'm just going to use a darker shade of eyeshadow instead. So I'm going to choose another palette from a darker sort of brown from a Colorescience palette. This one is called the Timeless Neutrals. So has a lot of kind of more smoky neutral colours, which can be all used together to combine a different look, especially for nighttime. But I'm just going to use a darker one just to define the edges of my lashes again. So I've got a small brush this time. And I always blow off the excess just so it doesn't fall down here. Okay, so I'm going to take this and blend it from the outside. Just a little kind of V shape. A little bit more. Blend along the lash line. For night time, I might bring the dark shade like I'm using here, whatever colour I'm using, more up onto the contour brow bone there. But for a daytime look, I try and keep the sort of lighter colour there. You can apply a little bit. For a softer eyeliner look, just under your lashes, only about 1/3 of the way. Okay. Now I think I feel that needs a little bit more blending, so I'm just going to get the lighter shade on the bigger brush and blend that a little. Very big on blending, as you may have noticed by now. Okay. Yeah, I feel better about that. create mascara. Mineral Mascara by Colorescience again. So this is mainly all Colorescience makeup that I'm applying today. I like to do that because it just sort of makes sure that the brush is loaded with fresh mascara from the tube. Okay, so a good tip with applying mascara is to just sort of look straight ahead, tilt your chin up, and then lift like this. You can blink into it. It helps to sort of distribute the mascara through your lashes. Okay, get a little bit more for the other side. You can now see my lashes, my longer lashes than usual. Thanks to Eye Envy that I use every morning, my lash growth serum. I also put through my brows because they're usually non-existent. You can apply a second coat or not, depends on what you like. Other side. Just got a little bit on my lid there, but I'll show you a great tip to remove that without wrecking the rest of your makeup. Take time with your mascara. It's your lashes are a good feature to play up. You can always just pinch the ends if you feel there's a little bit too much there, and that just smooths it off. Okay, so that little bit of mascara I've got on my eyeshadow now, on my lid, I'm just going to remove with a cotton tip, which I need to just grab. Okay, so just be careful not to close too much because until the mascara is dry, you don't want to transfer it down onto the bottom. Very gently remove it like that. And while I've got the cotton tip, bit of mist on there, or you can water if you're at the basin. This, for a more natural look for your brows, I always remove any makeup and powder, because there's nothing worse than seeing foundation and powder all the way through your brows. Okay, we'll just let that dry. While that's drying, I'm going to put on a lip liner. I've got the Coral Colour Colorescience one again. Needs a bit of sharpening, but I can manage. Okay, so I'm going to just dry my lips first. Okay, now just starting with the Cupid's bow. So I'm using this as my lip colour today, and I'm just going to reapply with like a sheet gloss. we go, just a nice natural hint of colour. I'm just going to put a bit of colour into my cheeks. So I'm just going to use the corrector palette again from Colorescience, this shade right here at the end. Reusing this brush, you can use a cheek brush, but I find this gives just a natural coverage. So I'm just literally swirling lightly over that and starting from when you draw a line down there, so put the brush down there and blend outwards towards the ear. That's just going to add a little bit of colour to my face without being too dramatic. So I could put some highlighters on at the moment, but I'm not going to today. You know, I can apply to here, down the nose, but I'm just keeping more of a natural look. So there you go. That's just a good daytime routine that you can do with your Colorescience makeup. Thank you for watching, and I hope this has given you some tips in some areas that you could do with some help with. So thank you again, and I will see you next time.